I'm so.
All right, 2026, the very first episode of the year for the Trade Industry Podcast. And I got a couple of my favorite people on here. And I'm not just saying that because you're my first guest of the year, but really are. I think I've talked to Michaela, you probably 10 times this week. Charlie, I talked to you today and yesterday. So I'm super excited to have you guys on here. Let's all say hello.
Hello. Let's go. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So everybody that's watching, and I'm sure you've seen everybody's faces on here already if you're watching this. Michaela, we are so grateful to have you coming aboard this year. I know it was a long time coming. You are the social media manager / director / person that tells us what to do online person now, right? So tell us about that. How was that? How is it going? It's been a couple months now. You've been kind of just wrapping your head around it. Have you completely wrapped your head around the FWA Fence Show media, whatever we got going on yet?
No, it's a lot. But I say that in the best way, right? It's just getting thrown in. But I think that's how I work the best, right? I just need to go head first, dive in and figure it out. I think we're still all trying to figure out, how we all work together in a way, right? How we all mesh, but we're getting there. And I'm so excited for every other event that's to come that we still haven't even really marketed or planned yet,
Yeah. So you've been cleaning it up though. I'm seeing the difference. I think we're all kind of seeing the difference. It's no more just Brian posting 30 things at 9 p.m. while I'm watching TV. You're organizing that. And I don't know how many pending posts did we have backed up in these groups? There
was so many. Every time I opened it, I got anxiety.
This is what my email looks like, everybody. It looks like that too. You see, how is it possible you have 456,000 unread email messages in your Outlook? It is possible. I'm telling you it is. But that's kind of what some of our groups were. So tell me about the post you put out. You put a post out that was I don't know. I was afraid to always put out, and it said something about any more than 30 days old or something. What was that?
Yeah, so I kind of put a post out just kind of saying, hey, for those of you who don't know me and kind of what was happening. But any post that was 30 days old, I deleted and got rid of. I'm so sorry. Don't come for me. But just it's not relevant anymore, right? We have so many posts coming in every day across all of the platforms and groups. So just to keep everything kind of going smoothly, it had to be done. So if you made a post and it was still pending and then it got declined, I don't hate you. You just need to resubmit it so that I can get it posted.
Fair enough. So there you guys go. If you got some sort of decline message in your feed, or I don't know, does it send people a message when you decline it?
Yeah, so it'll say that your post got declined. If I respond with feedback, that's the only time that they would get a message. So if that happened, just message me and we'll figure it out.
Okay, so there you go, you guys. If you're mad at anybody, get mad at Michaela.
It's
not
me. Not Brian.
So we're super excited. So tell us about how you see everything going this year, 2026. How's it starting off for you with the social media? What you got? Any plans going on the social media stuff we got? What's exciting? I know I'm catching you off guard on this, but what?
It's all exciting, right? I love and hate social media. But something that's coming up, we'll just get right into it, is the Winter Fence Cruise, right? So why would you want to spend your winter in snowy grossness when you could go on a cruise and, I don't know, have some sun? I don't do cruises, so I'm not the best person for this.
So this is our second year doing that. So, and we'll recap some of that, you guys, later on, and we'll drop in the comments and in the messages some of the information how to get more information on the Fence Cruise that's coming up. Again, Michaela, we're super excited. We just wanted to make the announcement to everybody, let everybody know if you have any questions about anything social media related. I know sometimes the responses were getting a little slow just because of how quick it grew, and there's 16,000 active members in just one of the groups, and so sometimes it's like 12,000 interactions a month that go on. And I know you're going to do your best to monitor and keep out the spam, and so you're not just spammed with everybody trying to sell you logos and tires. But yeah. All right.
There's a lot of that. I was like, no, what is happening?
So a lot of work goes into it. So we appreciate having you, Michaela. We will talk to you a little bit later. I'm sure everybody's going to be hearing a lot more.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Charlie.
Nothing better than having the right person in the seat of social media, man.
I feel like 10 or 12 monkeys just got taken off of my shoulder, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a lot.
When she came on board, and nobody knew it because she's actually been running analytics, and she's been, going through everything and seeing what was working, what wasn't, and making sure everything's getting responded to quicker, and just wrapping her head around it. We had groups with thousands of people in it that we we forgot we even had. So she's kind of pulling that together and organizing. So it's really cool. So we're jazzed. But Charlie, you and I talk. I mean, you're probably one of the few people. I mean, we have regular dinners. We talk all the time. And I think last time we were talking, you said, you always say stuff that just makes me think outside of the box. And I know I already think outside of the box when it comes to sales and things like that. But you said most businesses don't have a sales problem, because we were talking about how there was a little slow period for some companies, and they're all trying to ramp up their marketing. And you said most businesses don't have a sales problem; they have an infrastructure problem. And you tried to explain some of that to me, but I'm going to ask you for everybody else. What is it? What did you mean by that?
Well, basically, here's what most companies believe. They believe that deals are slowing down because of price, or because their close rates are soft and the lead quality has changed, or it's their people, right? Because reps need more training. So they respond the way most organizations do. They'll buy more leads. They'll script something else out that's different, or they'll change their CRM, or they might hire, a sales trainer, or they'll push on the deal harder. But most of them, they never really stop to examine the moment where the sale actually is decided. And the sale is not decided when you present the proposal. And for those of your audience that don't know me, I've been in home improvement. Now, I've never sold fences, right? But I've been selling everything from marble, tiles, shades, concrete, like you name it, anything that is home service based, let's say, I have experience in selling. So when I say the sale's not decided when you present the proposal, I'm being sincere. It's not decided when the objections come up, and it's not decided when the numbers are discussed. It's decided much earlier. And I believe, and I know it's decided at the first point of contact, because in high trust sales driven relationships, trust is not earned slowly over time.
Yep.
Right? You've got to have impact and influence at the word hello. So it's either established quickly, or it's never fully established at all. And when that moment of first contact, that first initial impression is inconsistent across your team, revenue quietly leaks out of the business in ways that most owners never see, nor do they measure. And they rarely attribute this as a cause to their declining revenue.
Right. So let's talk about that for a second. I mean, going back to you said when's the sale decided? I mean, is it first impression, or is it first point of contact? And I mean, let's before we get into it, let's explain to everybody how we met. We met, and I'm going to pull it up here for a second. We met through Dan Blanc, and because Dan Blanc was using OneTap. Right. And
no, as a matter of fact, Dan was using a digital card.
Uh-huh.
I think he was using Link or Blink.
A Linktree or something like that.
Yeah, I think the product was called Blink or something like that. And now obviously Dan and I are friends. That's how we met. But he called me up, and he was being a little curt with me on the phone. And he always says, "Oh, I wasn't being that dad." I go, "No, dude, you were pressing the pedal down on me." And he said, "Why should I buy your product? And how is this different than, a digital card?" And I said, "Well, let me show you. Let me show you, why you're having revenue leakage within your sales conversations." Right. So when I refer to revenue leakage, I'm talking about when people say, "Let me think about it, send me the quote, we're getting other bids, I've got to talk to my spouse, or you're a little expensive." That's because you didn't pre-frame the conversation out of the gate with impact and influence that ultimately build trust and certainty within that prospect's mindset.
Yep.
Right? Like for example, did you ever meet somebody where you're like, seems like a nice guy or seems like a nice gal, but I don't know, there's just something that, that's a little off. We've all had those interactions.
Yeah, it's like they got to go to the restroom and you're like, I don't really care if they come back.
Right. Yeah. So the crazy thing is a lot of people think, it's a lead problem or it's a training problem, but it's not. It's a certainty problem at the first point of contact, because that prospect didn't feel structure, that prospect didn't feel authority, and that prospect really didn't feel guided or any form of certainty and trust at the first point of contact. So that always goes back in the subconscious, right? Which is constantly playing, right? Everyone's always in fear mode. Is the contractor going to screw me? Are they going to show up for the job? And I say that respectfully because I've been in the business. So that's where, delay takes place. That's where sales stall or sales friction takes place. But if you learn how to do that at the first point of contact, I think you not only level the playing field, but you elevate yourself in the eyes of that prospect. And now they want what you have, and the price or other, BS friction of I always get 3 bids gets taken out of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've always went with first impression. I mean, I focused so hard for so many years on when the phone rings, pick it up and, get those calls scheduled right away. The first one out there. I know there's a lot of strategies out there. They insist everybody's getting 3 quotes, and you want to be, some people say, I want to be the first. Some say I want to be the last. That way you've already weeded through the other 2 and they're going to make a decision with you. I have always focused so hard on first impressions of right when they call up, and get them on the schedule, get a sales guy out there, ask for the sale, and, things like that. But I never thought about first point of contact impression and what that meant.
Let me just touch on what you just said, right? You get on the phone, you're the owner. Now, I'm sure we have a lot of owners or a lot of managers or C-suite people that are on this podcast. The owner always knows how to represent their brand because they're emotionally involved and they live it, breathe it, and that's their baby.
Yep.
Okay. But let me make something, what I'm going to call painfully simple to every owner, manager, or high-level executive that might be listening to this. If you've got 2 reps on your team and now you distribute those calls, right? And I went out with both those reps, and let's say rep A shows up clean, confident, professional, and structured, right? Rep B might show up scattered, unprepared, no process, no proof, really doesn't know how to properly represent the brand, right? So they're saying things based upon their mood or their personality.
Yep.
And that's the real issue. So as a business owner, you're running one company, but the customer is experienced 2 totally, completely different brands from that phone call you took with that owner to the person that you dispatched it to. And that's not a sales problem. It's an infrastructure problem, because your brand is only as strong as your weakest first impression. So they got you on the call, but now that guy's knocking on the door, right? And if he doesn't know how to properly introduce, build rapport, and gain credibility and follow the branding guidelines and verbiage that you want to come out of his mouth, or your mouth, I should say.
Yeah.
Now that's where things start to break down, and that's where the revenue leakage starts to take place.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I mean, our conversations always dive into stuff like that, and it makes me rethink decades of how I've been doing things. And I guess that's why these conversations are good. That's why it's always good to surround yourself with people, in other industries and your own. And I think that's why the trade industry podcast exists, because our industry is probably bigger than just the fence industry. We're also interlinked, with other trades, and we can learn a lot from each other. There's no doubt on how it's done. And you do a lot, not just in the fence industry. We're talking about roofing is a big one for you guys, right?
Yeah, I do work with roofers, all different types of home improvement. That's really been our sweet spot because that's where we've evolved. But I work with, chiropractors, attorneys, insurance, financial planners. And at the end of the day, when they're looking to scale their business, right, and build team, where they really fail is infrastructure.
Yeah.
And infrastructure, so there's clarity, is the system that makes trust within the sales process work, right? It ensures every rep shows up with the same credibility, every customer gets the same experience, and every first impression builds certainty, for lack of a term. Now, when I say this, everybody says, oh, it's my sales team. But it's your sales team, it's your project managers. Listen, if your bookkeeper leaves your office and goes out into the world, someone at church or at Starbucks is going to ask that individual, what do you do? Right. And instead of that person saying, I'm a bookkeeper, or I'm a bookkeeper for a fence company, they should have that infrastructure to know exactly what to say, engage people, and get them involved if they're a prospect in some way, shape, or form into the sales process by getting their name, booking a potential appointment for a rep or what have you. And every first impression, again, is to build certainty.
And I was talking to someone else in our industry who was asking about One Tap Connect, and because I'm always talking about you. I mean, obviously, I use you guys. A lot of people at our company use you. Use the actual One Tap. We have our microsites. We have all that stuff going on. And I was trying to explain to it and explain to them what it was. Like, what is it? And I literally had the phrase, and I think I mentioned it to you. I go, it's the handshake that keeps on shaking, and it literally does. It's a handshake that just keeps on shaking even while you're gone. So you're not there, but it's easy for other people to pull it up and show someone else in their company, or show, someone's asking for a referral and things like this if they know anybody in the industry. So it really is. So I do want to get into it before we pull on our next guest though. What exactly One Tap is?
Well, you just said it's the handshake that keeps on shaking. It's something that helps you, as I said. It helps the customer do three things: identify who you are and what you do. It positions you as an authority, and it shows that you have a process or an infrastructure for the way in which you do business. And that's the big difference. And when that happens, right, you're standardizing trust at the word hello. So your close rates are going to go up. Your price resistance goes down. Your decisions happen faster. Your brand becomes stronger, and your revenue becomes more predictable because you're no longer relying on one killer closer to carry the company, right? You're building a system, just like if you go to Chipotle, right? You can walk into Chipotle in New Orleans, Las Vegas, Buffalo, New York, or Denver, Colorado.
What's Chipotle? You mean Chipotle? What are you talking about?
Mickey D's, Chipotle, Starbucks. Like my point is that's where I think we, as a lot of small businesses, miss it or start to drift. And that's why, I created the tool. So going back to Dan, when Dan called me, Dan had a digital card.
Yep.
And I said to Dan, if you're looking for another digital card, I'm not your guy, right? This is going to help you build infrastructure, rapport. It's going to be a little, real life prospecting tool that essentially builds that infrastructure base where every rep says the same thing, the same way, essentially at the same time within the process. And it makes your brand feel expensive, right, at the first point of contact. And what I mean by that is it's going to put you up here, right? Like, this is a first-class operation versus the guy that's going to pull out a paper card, half torn, with some writing on the back, and he hands it to you. And that's really not a first impression. So I like to say One Tap Connect is a revenue infrastructure system that gives you identity, authority, proof, process, and follow-up across your entire organization, so the customer experiences one brand every time.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. You guys do one heck of a job. And then you've got some new platforms and stuff in the back. I mean, a lot of stuff happened last year with your guys' stuff. So how are people going to find out more about this? Obviously, they can come to any one of the fence shows. One of our events.
I mean, if you go to onetapconnect.com, onetapconnect.com, or I don't know if Susan has it handy. If she has my One Tap, you can put up my QR code and people can scan that. I don't know if that's possible, but onetapconnect.com. And if you want, you can book a briefing with me or one of my people, and we'll walk you through a complete, 1, 2, 3 of what we would do and how we would really set you up with what we'll call, an infrastructure deployment, where we build everything out for you around your brand, your calls to action, integrate with your CRMs. So again, you're reducing, friction, and you're making the sales process not only easier for your rep, but ultimately easier for your prospect, right? Because if you think about it, it's all about your prospect or potential customer. That's key.
And I can tell you guys this by personal experience. It's the handshake that keeps on shaking, and it's worth checking out. Just what do you got to lose? Definitely. I think I've got one here. I've got profiles set up on multiple different things I've got going on. And if you were at the World Fence Federation booth in Las Vegas this year, you probably have access to one of the One Taps right now. Just tap that card you picked up, that business card you picked up from the show. That's an actual One Tap card as well. So, if you want to see a little bit more information, I'm going to bring on Sasha in the background. This is kind of cool. Sasha.
What's up? I'm still here.
Speaking of the fence show, the man that's never left.
Never left.
So everybody that's listening, Sasha is one of our new co-hosts. So we're really excited to bring you on, Sasha. I know people have probably seen you on, I don't know, probably 30% of all my podcasts already. So we're just jazzed. Say hi to everybody, man, because we're excited to see you.
Yeah, we're 2026 is going to be a good year in fencing.
2025 was a roller coaster. I think our last big trip together. Last time we saw each other was probably New Year's Eve, right? But
yeah, it was New Year's Eve, and we had a little bit of a layover in UK at some point. That was that was very interesting. It's very fun. Very fun.
Charlie, you almost came with us.
I did. I was very close to coming.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting. It was fun. That was fun though. Yes. We were at FenceX. If anybody's listening, you can follow that. I don't know if you've watched any of the videos or seen anything. FenceX was pretty cool. It's pretty much the largest trade show going on for our industry over in the UK. So there was a lot of cool stuff going on in that. Ag industry is pretty heavily involved in that. So that was kind of neat to see, that. And then types of fences are different though, huh? We went over there. Sasha and I went over there and we're like, man, we're just going to come over here and we could kind of kill the market over if we wanted really to in the UK. No, there's different fences. The fencing they build over there is different than the fence market here. Yeah. So it was really cool to see it. What did you see, Sasha, fence-wise that was that much different?
Yeah. And it was awesome to see how different countries, like we all do fence as a post and there's everything in between, but it's definitely a different, I think one of my very close mentors who's very big in the business, he was saying, Sasha, the greatest fence ever built was a Chinese wall. And I'm like, you know what? That is true, because when you think of a wall, like a fence, you think of you putting a barrier. Hey, this is my property. This is your property. And I'm like, when you think of fence, we're very old when you look at it, like as in not just, iron or PVC and so it's like, when you take a look and you go to other countries and see what they do, it's interesting, right? We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of trouble, me and you in the UK. We did. But it was awesome. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was cool. You would have had a good time, Charlie. It was something else, man. I mean, there's a whole, and how they do the expos is completely different. They're all enclosed walls. I don't know if you've been to one of these in another country. Maybe that's how it is a lot in Europe, but it's not curtains. It's not like drapes. You know how we do the rods and the drapes? These are all actually enclosed.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, when you, and then with a trellis kind of above the top, and it was like it's all modular walls. They just must put together. I don't know.
But hang on. Let's just say one thing. What the Americans do better than any country in the world is put on a show. And one of the best shows in the world is FWA. Like you guys know how to put on a show. So us foreigners that come in, like that's our show, right? It's like, oh, it's very blah, you know, it's very boxed. It's very, that's the one thing.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. Don't get all defensive.
No, it's not bad.
That's what it sounds. Well, hold on. Let me defend Europe and Australia and stuff now, man. It wasn't an attack on Australia. Relax. Hey, I'll talk.
Attack Australia all you want.
No, it was cool.
Hey, guys, let's not get into politics. We're having fun.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get into that over there, man. Every cab driver was all over me. They saw the hat.
Oh man, this guy in his hat. Oh, there was a lot of conversation. So I said to Brian, like we were traveling around, and then one of my favorite parts of the UK, especially England, like right in the heart of England, Big Ben, all that, was the cab drivers, especially the black cabs. You got suicide doors, right, Brian? You open the doors, suicide doors. It's like the ugliest cab you've ever seen. You get in there, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's like a limo. It was super comfortable, but there was a lot of cowboy hat conversations in those cabs. Lots. And I was like, whoa, what's going on over here? Yep.
Especially when they said, sir, what's in the hat?
Yeah.
They were giving Brian some lectures,
They were a couple of them, but man, a lot of them, they love the U.S.
Oh, I love the U.S. Yeah,
they did. There wasn't really much negative feedback. It was definitely pretty interesting. Sasha, so I know you've some of those. That must be a picture because I was over at South Point. I didn't see your booth still there. But what's
I'm still here.
Where's that bar now? Is that at your house or?
No, it's a mobile bar. It's moving around. So wherever the next party that FWA does, that's popping up. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And you're up in Arizona right now, I heard, right?
Yep. Arizona, sunny Arizona at the moment. It was 82 today. Yeah, it was not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So going off what me and Charlie were saying, did that make you think a little bit different about the first impression / first point of contact? How do you handle it? I mean, what do you focus on at Founders Fence? Founders Fence. What, when you're sitting there thinking about sales and what's important, what part of it do you focus on? Do you focus on just getting more leads? Do you focus on the when you answer the phone, or do you focus on all of it? The point of contact out in the field.
I like what Charlie was saying about, so I have outside sales guys, we have inside guys and ladies, and it's like not one is the same, right? And what I love my team is, I think over the years, you try to cookie cutter everybody into a box. You go, hey, we're going to do this. But there's certain people, like I have one sales guy that he's amazing, and he's just him, right? So it's like, how do you put him in a box when he's doing such a good job? And they're very different. So I like what Charlie was saying about, you got, A sales guy walks in, or woman, and then you got B sales guy or woman walks in, and they're very different. So how do you manage that? Like, what do you do? How do you have that point and that first initial point of contact? And I think for me, over the years, I've realized you have to have a system in place. You do. Yeah. There has to be some sort of system in place to sort of try to that funnel effect. But at the end of the day, there's certain sales teams that, A and B they could be so different, and they do a great job on a very different level. And that's been my lesson. I'm a guy that likes to bring everybody in on the same track. Let's go. Like, which is what we have to do anyway. Like, this is our point of reference. This is where we're going. But I don't know. I have one that I'm with right now in Arizona. And he's probably watching the podcast and going to be mad at me, right? But why I love him is because he's just different. Like, that's not my tactic, but the way he works. But the key underlying factor is that first point of contact, right? I was listening to you and Charlie talking about, okay, you have that first point of contact. And I think price should never be the first conversation, right? It's that first, what's my impression? Look, price is going to come up. That's just life, right? It doesn't matter what you doing in construction, price is going to end up coming up, right? But if you can, and it's hard too. I don't know, Charlie, like, you've had a lot of experience in different industries. I've been in a fair few different industries before I came into fencing. I think the common issue is the same in every industry. I feel like in construction it's very similar. But it's like, I don't know, how do you take a person that has one style of selling and a person that has another style, and they're both nearly as effective as each other? It's hard to rein that in.
Well, and that's and excuse me for interrupting, but I wanted to touch on this. That's the whole point of the infrastructure, right? Like, you made a point of, you went to an event in the UK, right? That was very different than the event that Brian put on. But if you walked into Brian's event in the UK, you're going to immediately know that it was put on by Brian's brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm trying to suggest. I'm not looking to change people's personalities, right? But what does the word personality mean? It's that particular person's reality of how they see life or the sales process, right? What I'm talking about is infrastructure, that before the sales process starts, this is how Sasha, the CEO of the company, wants his brand, products, and services represented. So once you go in and do this, Brian, right? If you want to wear a cowboy hat, or you want to wear a ball cap, if you want to put your beard to a peak, or you just want to let it, right? I'm cool with either way, but this is the brand, and this is how Fence Show Vegas is represented. So that's what I'm trying to impress upon people, right? But what most companies do is they say, well, yeah, we sell X, Y, and Z. And, as long as Brian goes out and maybe, brings a piece of sales collateral that talks about how the fence has a 30-year warranty, I'm cool with that. And you might not even show up with that. So I wanted to create one source, one infrastructure, to where when that person went in, the customer sees the credibility stack. Do you understand? You've heard about tech stack. Now, in business, Sasha, do you have a standardized proposal?
Well, for us on the supply side, yes, we do, because we have
Do you have a CRM that everybody uses?
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is every company has certain standards, right? But no one, let me rephrase that. Most people that I found don't have what I call a credibility stack. Your proof of who you are and what you do at Hello, your reviews, your before and after shots, your process, right? Your next step language.
Yeah. Right.
So again, I met Dan Blanc over the telephone. Dan Blanc saying, "Oh, it's a digital card." I'm telling him, "No, Dan, it's not a digital card. It's an infrastructure play." Well, I don't understand. Well, then he understood. He bought. As soon as he bought, because I took him through, right? A structured initial format. I took a doubting Thomas or a doubting Dan in this case, right? To a guy that's like, here's my credit card. By the way, do you know Brian Frederickson? No, I don't. You need to meet him. He's doing a fence show. You need to go show your product at the fence show. Now, if I was selling fences, I could have just went and sold, you know, a guy that owns a ranch.
He's a sexy man, Brian. He's a sexy man, old Dan Bunk.
Yeah, look at him,
so
man.
That's all I'm trying to impress upon everybody, right? It's not a tool. It becomes an infrastructure play, and this becomes how you start to engage people in your sales process. It drops their guard because you've set that foundation.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, that answered your question you had right there. What do you do when you've got different personalities and different salespeople? And I think that's a battle that we all try to deal with. I mean, you've got one person sales, one person focuses solely on, he's going to spend, 4 hours on trying to get the quote perfect, right? The other person's going to spend 4 hours talking to the customer, and then he's going to spend 10 minutes on the quote, right? So it's different ways people sell. So maybe this is a way to help kind of tie that together. You guys, though, you may be somewhere where it's really hot, Sasha, but it's not hot everywhere else around the country. So
definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah.
Not by any means. But there is a place, if you're somewhere where it's cold, you're tired of the snow, the ice, your car's not starting because it's too cold and you forgot to plug it in last night.
Oh, man.
Meet us down there in Florida, because this is coming up March 26th, 27th, and we need your support. This is our first event going to the East Coast, so I'm nervous. I'm as nervous about this as I was about the very first show we ever put on, because obviously this isn't down the street. I don't have all my fence trucks and stuff that can drive over there. We're going mobile, obviously, with some of the experience that we've gained. Charlie, thank you again for saying earlier that if you go to a show that we put on, already when you walk through the door, it was put on by one of our brands, our brand, right? It's the kind of event that we put on, and we're going to try to bring that all the way to Florida, and I think we're going to pull it off. It looks like it's going to be pretty cool. So this is right outside of Orlando. It's not going to be a big, huge expo hall, but it's 23 acres of property. It's going to be more of an outdoor event. We've got some barn areas inside, but we've got pop-up tents.
I went out and I bought 2 fishing poles. Catfish and bass fishing. So I'm there. I'm in. I'm 100% in.
And when we reserved this a while back, they started stocking these things for us.
Dude, come on.
Yeah, there's trike racings, there's playgrounds. Is that definitely we wanted? We're all about including everybody, and that includes your family. Because your family is a big part of your fence company. If you're a small fence company, odds are your wife or one of your kids or your brother or your uncle, your cousin, if not all of them, the odds are one of them's involved in your company, somewhere along the line. So this is a family event. Bring the kids, because most likely those kids are going to be in the fence business, because if you're in it, it gets passed down. It's just, I don't know. It gets in the blood.
Yes, we're living that life, me and you, right now.
Yeah, it's in the blood. I mean, first I learned to drive a truck on a fence job site. I mean, it's like, some of the first wounds and almost every bit of bullying, abuse I ever took as a child happened on a fence job site, from my uncle or something. So it's literally a rite of passage. But nonetheless, we've got all kinds of exciting stuff here. You're going to take the family to Disney World or something after that, because we're going to be right here near it, and lots of hotels and things going on, activities, and it's going to be a blast. So we're super jazzed about that. Sasha, you're going to be down there. I know I'm going to get you down there.
Yes. Absolutely. Where I want to be in that time of the year anyway, but there,
it's not going to be freezing, that's for sure. Nope. It's going to be perfect weather. It's March 26th, 27th. It's supposed to be just the ideal time of year to be down in Florida. So if you're up there in the cold, you want to take a break from it, stop chasing the snow, come down and visit us in Florida.
So Brian, what are we going to do to register? How do we go about making sure that we're all set from a supplier side to to everyone that needs to be part? What do we got to do?
Yeah, so we're going to put Sasha's cell phone number on here, and everybody just give him a call.
Yeah. I'm just going to pass it to my wife, and she's just going to go, you're an idiot. Yeah.
So you go to fenceshow.com, same place you'd register for. It's a fence show event. So go to fenceshow.com and you're going to be able to register for the upcoming fence show in Las Vegas, October 6th and 7th, or you can register for the next.
I'm already here. I'm ready. I've got it. I'm already here.
He thinks he's saving money by not having to tear it down and put it back up, but
yeah, it's not.
I think it's working.
My bill's pretty ridiculous. I think our company's going to be in a bit of trouble, but it's okay.
Yeah. So we're pretty jazzed. So if you want to get away from that, you guys, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We're super excited, you guys. I know we've been disconnected the last couple months.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Brian? Like, there was a little bit of a pause, from last year. Talk to me. What happened? What was going on?
And I think I made one post about it. My wife was having some issues with her cancer. So it was a real.
How's she doing? How's your dear doing?
Good. She had her surgery last week. They put a rod from her shoulder into her arm. And cancer had issues, and so it was just a couple months of. I got a little. You know what, guys? Between you and I got a little depressed. I talked to both of you guys a little bit. I was disconnected, and that never happens to me. I wasn't. I didn't check my email. I wasn't on any social media was kind of forcing them out. I wasn't replying. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't visiting people. I think I went to the office 2 days in 2 months. It was just, I was in a hole, I guess, myself. So once she got nobody wants to see, your wife or someone family member care about in that much pain all the time. So it was a rough.
I feel like
months.
last year, Brian, last year was an interesting year, period. Like, besides personal stuff, like businesses, like I can only talk about our industry. It was a rough year, right? It was interesting. And I know nothing about politics, so I don't want to talk about politics ever because I'm a moron about pop-it. When I look at my business and, the sacrifices we all make, especially. And it doesn't matter whether you run a business or own a business, but especially when you go to the owner's side, last year was just tough. It was a very interesting year. And then what do you do when you get through December? Because I can't imagine what you went through and you did as a unit, and then as a company, you own a fence company as well, besides running FWA, and then everything that you're trying to beat, and everybody's like the negativity that goes with what we do in our industry. I feel like, tell me, where are you at today? Like, so you disappear, and I tell everyone that's listening to this, I've known Brian for a little bit. I know that guy, if he's not posting and he's not at something's not right. And I don't mean it in a bad way. I think we all have to recheck, right? Yeah. So for me personally, with founders, as one of the owners, it's like last year was rough. And at the end of the year, not putting everything that you went through, Brian, but what's the outlook for this year for you?
Yeah. Well, we had a great year. The show was amazing. We had a great time. Obviously, then we had that issue after that. But now I'm starting to question. Here's two things, Sasha. I either built an amazing team, or I'm starting, to run the fence company, or I'm questioning my leadership skills, because December was the best year we had all year. So I don't think I went into the office. So
yeah.
So either I built a really good team, or I was just a really bad leader. I don't know. But December was amazing, and this year coming up, we're starting off right out of the gate pretty good. So my prediction, obviously, this is just our, and we're all in different regions. So I can. That's easy for me to say because I'm not in an area where we shut down for 3 months out of the year, and everybody has to either go on unemployment or find other jobs, and things like that during those 3 months. So we live in an area where it's busy all the time. So, also we can work all year. But I predict 2026 is going to be probably one of the best years we've had in 2-3 years. Just as a whole for the industry, I think you're going to see everything just start to spike. I know we've all went through, whether it be political, whether it be our businesses, whether it be whatever that is going on, for the last year or so. But I think you're going to see everything just start to climb back up. And I know a lot of people had rough Decembers, November, Decembers, but I think you're going to see things just go crazy, in the next 2-3 months. And then we're expecting even the fence show to be the biggest show we've had coming up in this year. And you know what, I'm going to push for it myself. And I think partially that is because of friends like you guys, outside of just what we're doing here on this podcast. The three of us are actually friends. I'm friends with both of you guys on a real personal level. So our wives all talk. We're close. So I'm thinking this is going to be a phenomenal year.
I love it because I feel like, sorry.
No, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. I think we're lucky. I think we're lucky to be in it. And I look at I think we sat back for a long time in our industry, and you wonder where, what I do, the energy behind what I'm doing. It's in obviously a lot of it spurred up because we needed healthcare and stuff for our industry. I felt like we needed that. Not for just for me too, for my family and for my wife and my, everything that I've got going on, my employees, the companies and everything. But also because I didn't like the direction I saw it going. I saw the industry going in. We're slowly losing market share on our some of our industry, some of it, and I'm all for an open trade back and forth from here across the pond, back and forth. I want their products coming here, but I think if we're going to lose 10% of markets, 10% of the market share on products being built here, I'm all for it, but we need to get 10% of the products going that direction too. So,
but I think Brian,
that,
too,
go ahead.
I think for me personally, the challenge is, we're real, right? Like, we're trying to promote our industry for everyone, right? And go, guys, look, it's tough out there. And, you talk about health insurance, right? Like, you guys are one of the leaders of bringing health insurance. And now, remember, I'm Australian. Health insurance is technically free, right? So you get, but it's like there's certain things that I don't think people understand how much FWA women, the whole organization has tried to be a voice to go, okay, look, you need this, let us help you, right? So I feel like that's the struggle when you're, when you personally go through things, Brian, and I don't think people will ever understand what you and Yadira have gone through because it's been, you run an organization, you run your fence company, you guys are going through, and to be where you are today and to see 2026, I really feel with you that 2026 is going to be a great year. People can say whatever they want. Great's only in the value that you look at it, right? Yeah. So, whether it's in sales, whether it's with OneTap, like this is the year to go, hey, what can we do? As personally me, I'm an owner now. I'm not just a manager. So it sucks a little bit, right? Because you're just like, okay, what can we do? What we can't do? And, you look at a cash flow, especially from a small business. We're not a private equity company. That's why we need, Charles. We need all this help to go, hey, guys, like, come on, look at this. Don't look at it as a cost. Yes, everything costs something. Right. But what I'm excited about in 2026 is like, look, we got demo days coming up. We've got just get involved, guys. Like everyone out there that's listening to this podcast, like you've got the tools. You've got OneTap right at you. Use it. Like we're not like everyone has to make money, but you got to use the tools and don't be scared. We're talking about Dan and what this whole walkthrough, like you've got to use the tools that you have access to. And that's the crazy thing. 2026, I think is going to be, I'm with you. I mean, you've debated this for a long time. Yep. 2026, I've got, we can go back and forth on 10 podcasts about what I think, but at the end of the day, who cares? Because I believe you can have a successful company. It doesn't matter what the markets are doing. And there's certain market, but if you follow the principles, just like you two were talking about tonight, and if you use the tools that are at your beckoning, like you can have a successful company. You can take what we've tried to do in fencing. I know, me and you've talked about this a long time. We've got to keep it real. Real is real. It is what it is. We're all going through our things. And as the company, we're trying to work out what's our identity. And at the end of the day, we've got a community, use it. Like this great community we have around us, great leaders, like great programs, great systems, like one, use it. Like, don't be scared of it. Like, use it. Because at the end of the day, we're all successful together, not against each other. So yeah, 2026 is going to be fun, man. Fun.
It is. I mean, it's Charlie, how'd you close out this year? Good?
Yeah, we had we've been blessed. We had a great year, and I'm one that, yesterday's history.
Yeah.
As they say, tomorrow's a mystery, today's the present. So
Love it.
yeah, that's, I'm just looking forward to what comes next.
Yep.
I'm a dumb fencing guy, so I just say, hey, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow hasn't even come. Just deal with today, and yesterday is yesterday. Like you said, Charlie. It's like perfect.
You guys have it, and USA. If you're watching my post, the U.S. is open for business. We closed it, and I believe over the last decade or two, we closed it, trying to protect what we had, and we're slowly losing a little bit of market share. The U.S. is open for business, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that we can start doing more cross trading back and forth. That's my goal. My goal is to obviously grow the industry. So when it comes down to the sales, the only advice I can give people is, if you're spending $1,000 a month in Google AdWords and you think that those results are always going to be the same as new companies are opening up into your market, it's not. So you gotta figure out, you got to go into new markets. You got to figure out new ways to sell. If you sit there long enough, whether you're a manufacturer, supplier, or a fence company, you're going to slowly lose customers, and your leads are going to slowly dwindle down if you stick with the exact same thing you're doing. So if you're not growing, you're shrinking. Everybody's heard that.
I believe in today's day and age, times aren't changing; they've changed.
Yep.
That's number one, and they're continuing to change at a rapid pace. So I'm no youngster. You have to definitely get uncomfortable with your discomfort. I was with my uncle who's in the insurance business in Buffalo, New York last week. And as we're talking, he's 10 years older than me. Entrepreneurship and business is not for the faint of heart. And you need to be prepared. Talking to my uncle, and his son's in the business, and my uncle's telling his son, I don't want to do this. You just do it. And I looked at him, I said, Unc, you're at the point where if you don't want to do it, great, then don't do it. But if you don't want to learn how to do it, right, then either pay someone to do it, or don't be the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Right. So you just can't take the approach of, this is the way, I want to do it, because that might not work, or this is the way I've always done it. So I like to say I use every road, tip, technique, credibility stack, software stack. Like, how do I go down that road that's going to lead me to a prospect that's going to turn into a revenue relationship?
There you guys go.
What's amazing about what you're saying is that you try to build, I love this industry. Like, and I can talk about fencing, right? I didn't come from fencing either, but how do my kids, how does the future generation, dude, this is a great industry to be in, right? So how do we show the world, hey, it could be plumbing, like you're doing, roof, whatever it is. There is an industry in construction that is amazing for families and life, but how do we bring that all together? That's the passion that I feel like we need to just, as a group, and in this moment it's fencing, but who cares? It doesn't matter. It is, I'll take a plumber. I'll hire a plumber tomorrow. And they're too expensive, of course, because they're very well. But you know what I mean? It's like I feel like we're in a little bit of a rut right now, and it's got put all the noise beside. Who cares what you might not think and what I think, and at the end of the day, you have to build homes, you have to build buildings, you have to do, and I'm like, we're in a great time of history, in the greatest country in the world. Like, let's just focus back on that. And I feel like that's the platform, right? If we can get more people to go, hey guys, I don't really care. You might think this and I might think that. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make money for our families. Let's get back to the basics, you know, and I like what you and Brian were talking about, you know, getting the infrastructure correct, because that's very important. And I think somewhere along the line, small business, I don't care what anyone says, I really believe small business is a backbone of this country. I'm not saying that the big business is not, that's not what I'm, but that's what we've got to get back to. And we've got to encourage small businesses like Founders Fest. Like, we're a nobody, but like, get back to the basics. Like, okay, Sash, I can help you over here. One tap, go see Charlie. Like, resources, right? Like, I feel like that's where we've got to get back to. Bunch of people that just want to do well, and we're all going to make money from the install side to the manufacturer to whatever. But that's what I'm excited about in 2020. So I feel like that's it. That's the key, and that's what we've got to build to. And look, not everyone will get it, but the main thing is that there's resources. And everyone that's listening to this podcast, I want to encourage you 100%. There are resources that you have access to. If you've met Charlie for the first time, not use One Tap. You got FWA. You got FWA. You've got all these resources. Use them, because if you use them, it will help you grow to whatever level you want. You know, who's here to judge whether you need to have 10 trucks, 1 truck? What are we calling them back in the day, Brian? When people are saying, "Oh, you're a truck," no. You are a professional. Use the resources, you know.
And remember, you guys, if you're listening, if you're in the fence business or the gate business, as long as there's women, dogs, and children, you're going to be okay. We're not going anywhere.
And truck drivers. You forgot about truck drivers.
And I heard somebody once say, if you're not sitting there tonight like this, or at least at some point with your head between your hands going, I don't know what I'm going to do next, you're not even in the game yet. Okay. So thank you guys for coming on. We will see everybody next week. This was really fun. I'm excited to be back. This year is going to go to the moon. We'll see you guys. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody.